Good afternoon and welcome to This Week with our Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce and Miami's community newspapers. I'm Mark Trowbridge, joined by Adele. And we're talking about Adele because this is her song that talks about photographs. And today is National Photography Day. Now, for many of you, being photographed is a daily phenomenon, whether it's the occasional selfie or it's the opportunity to be out and about. No matter what, let's document what's going on. Because if it isn't on your social media page, then it likely did not happen. Isn't that right? Grant?
Yes, sir.
Great to see you. Thanks so much for being part of
last week. I missed
our
out.
Collaboration. I was just going to say that last week we had a total head fake. I get here. Tommy breaks the news to me that I'm doing the show with Michael, which we've done a couple of times.
Excuse me. Morgan, are you awake? We're live. I just want to make
sure
you're awake.
She's always ahead of the game. She's always up from her nap by 3. Now, most importantly, Michael did a great job, but we don't have the same rapport or banter. Plus, I think he's always a little bit nervous around me.
I think a lot of people.
You think he learned not to be after having grown up with you?
Yeah, well, some people get nervous around you. I don't.
Well, I have a big personality. I'm pretty comfortable being me. And as I was told today by a mutual friend, you just tell it like it is. And, I think that's the way that I was raised. And it's never meant to be hurtful or disrespectful. But, I think people have to hear kind of the skinny on things. And in my role as our chamber leader, I think if you talk to a business or you talk to a member or you're talking about the future, I was emailing with our board today about a conversation that happened last night on development, which we can talk about. I want them to be informed. Event? Yeah, Commissioner Anderson, along with her colleagues, called for a workshop on a number of issues, the Mediterranean bonus, as of right builds, and other types of projects, because as you know, it was a significant issue during the election. And I think the neighborhood associations really look to Commissioner Anderson as their go-to when it comes to
how's the turnout?
Having their voice heard. They had a really great turnout. I think you and I discussed what the prediction was. I was way off. They had about 200 on the Zoom and another 75 or 80 in the room.
That's what Commissioner Anderson says. She's in minimum 200.
It was closer to 300.
Well, congratulations to Commissioner Anderson. Now, they did a public notice that her to be there. Was your other commissioners there?
No, all of them were there. All 5 participated. The mayor chaired the meeting. There was a lot of public comment. Probably live public comment was more prevalent than the Zoom public comment. Plus, it went from 7 until about 10. So that's a long time to ask people to Zoom in or participate. But I just think by the participation alone, you understand that folks have a lot to say around future development.
That's exciting. So speak about photography. Today's photography day.
Photographing.
Who's your favorite photographer?
I have 3 favorite photographers.
Okay.
So my favorite photographer was the first presidential photographer, and he photographed Abraham Lincoln in the Civil War, Matthew Brady.
Mr. Brady.
Yeah, Matthew Brady. Then I would say my go-to guy for landscapes, the Everglades. I have a beautiful picture of a ghost orchid that he took. Is Clive Butcher.
Is he still alive?
I don't know. I met him at a Coconut Grove Arts Festival years and years and years ago. Absolutely a legend. And I didn't know a lot about him, but I bought the ghost orchid because he was also the official poster that year. And I had it framed. It hung in my office for years and years. It was a ghost orchid at 3 different phases of the day. Same ghost orchid, but morning, high noon, and in the evening, the dusk. And how different each of those shots look. And you and I think that's like go up, click. He probably took thousands to capture the right look and feel and the light and the dying of the sun. I just love it. And then my favorite in terms of like celebrities, Annie Leibovitz. Had a chance to meet her. We did a program with her at Books and Books a number of years ago. And it was Annie Leibovitz at Work. And it really was a great book that looked at people in their working space, whether they were celebrities or not, it was a great, captivating title for folks like me who work with businesses each and every day. And listen, we take a ton of photographs. You help us do that. We do videos and photography, and we feature. And right now, people really react to that because they've missed that personal day-to-day one-on-one interaction.
Okay, so quiz.
Those are my three.
Quiz.
Yep.
Your favorite two letters has been up to 5 weeks ago, UF. Your three new favorite letters are STU.
That's right. St. Thomas University, where I've been teaching all summer. Have class tonight. And guess who my guest speaker is tonight?
Grant? No.
Grant, I would love for you to be there.
But who is it?
It's Dr. David Armstrong, the university president.
Wow.
So I reached out to him to thank him for the opportunity to be back on the adjunct faculty. And he was very gracious. And I said, hey, would you think it'd be possible for you to come in and talk to my grad students, especially a class on negotiations? And he said, I would love to. And he's coming tonight. And you know what? I asked the students last week, I'm like, how many of you have met the president? None have met him. And it's not because David's not accessible. I think when you are a grad student and you work all day and you come to class at night, you're not as connected as like a traditional master's level student, doctoral level student, or undergrad. And so they're going to meet him for the first time. And I gave him some talking points. They just hired a new basketball coach. So I wanted him to talk a little bit about that process and negotiation. There's articles every single day. 2 Dolphin players, one who signed over the weekend and another, Xavier Howard, who was looking for an extension, even though he just got an extension. And we'll do a little case study on that tonight about when it's appropriate to be negotiating, etc.
I met Mr. Armstrong, right?
Yeah, Dr. Armstrong.
I just said hello to him at one of your events.
Yes.
You could feel, that was 2 years ago, right?
It's probably almost 2 years ago.
He could feel, when he spoke, you could feel the electricity through the building. And that's going to empower the school. As, Dr. Frank, brilliant.
Sure.
But, before that, it was Donna Shalala.
Right.
And you can feel her electricity. And, this guy, Armstrong, is going to take St. Thomas to a new level.
I mean, you have to realize that university presidents are CEOs. And in many cases, the skill set that they are required to have can transcend the skill sets you might see in a Fortune 500 company. So think about a university president. In many cases, faculty want them to be an academic. Alumni want them to be a fundraiser. Students want them to be, accessible and connected. Some of the faculty want them to be an accomplished researcher or top of their game in terms of their own education. And probably more than anything, they have to be incredibly outward facing when it comes to community issues, political issues, and even going and dealing with issues at our state in terms of Tallahassee. And so I've always been in awe of presidents. When I was a master's student at Florida, I took a class on the college presidency. And one of the things that was fascinating is when we had to do a paper on a university president, but really was the compare and contrast because, over time, there have been challenging searches to replace a president that kind of blow up because faculty want something, alumni want something, administration wants something else, board of trustees want something else. This just happened at Florida State 2 weeks ago. They were very much moving in the direction of hiring a former Secretary of Education, more politically connected. Their outgoing president, John Thacher, is a former Speaker of the House of Florida. And the faculty finally stood up. Right? Yep. Finally stood up and said, we want an academic. And that's who they hired. First time in quite a few cycles. Florida's been through that as well, whether we were hiring Marshall Kreiser, who was more of a politically connected fundraising, prowess versus what we have now in Kent Fox, who's an academic, an engineer, a theologian. But, he's a guy who discovered TikTok and the students love it because he's a little bit nerdy, but he's so connected in all of his constituencies. And he came from Cornell University. So, came from the land grant of New York to the land grant of Florida, from a private institution to a very large public institution, but took all of those skills, just like Julio did when he came to Miami, had been the dean of the College of Public Health and had been a minister in the government of Mexico. And, you never know what all of those things will bring to the table. So I love it. And I can't wait to the students to kind of chat with him. I think they'll be pleasantly surprised and they will feed off that energy. I know I did.
So, speak about St. Thomas. You had a great event at UM last week.
We did.
Great event.
Thank you so much. We hosted our annual legislative roundup. We had 6 of our local legislators. So I want to say a special thank you to our Miami-Dade delegation chair, Ana Maria Rodriguez, Senator Rodriguez. And she was joined by Representative Nick Duran and Representative Busata Cabrera, who both represent the Gables, by our Senator Ileana Garcia, who also represents the Gables, Michael Grieco, Juan Fernandez Barquin. I mean, just a great group. I saw that another one of our chambers is doing this event, and I kind of chuckled because it's a lot of the same people. But I think it's coming up in a couple weeks. But they used exactly the name of our event. So
I didn't know that. Which one is that?
I'll forward it.
Okay. So I was there.
I'm glad for people to do what we're doing, because we've been doing it for more than a decade, and we probably had about 50 or so folks there, and we did it both in person and on Zoom.
It was impressive because Ana Maria Rodriguez, I've known, 25 years.
Probably back to when she worked at Baptist.
Yeah. And then after that, she worked with Bob Levy.
Mm-hmm.
It was the other way around. But she did a great job. Michael Grieco, who's, it's Republican driven in Tallahassee, but they all talked about working together. That was impressive. They weren't talking about Republicans or Democrats. They were all talking about how do we work together. And that was great. And Joaquin's, he's a class act.
One of the things that happens in Tallahassee is that, our delegation, if we're not together, then we're behind the 8 ball very quickly. Miami-Dade County is a donor county. So whatever we're paying to the state in terms of education, in terms of dollars that come out of Miami-Dade County, don't come back 100%. We're helping fund other counties, more rural counties, smaller counties, all across the state. So, if Alberto Carvalho had every dollar back that we sent up there, I mean, he would be in hog heaven. But instead, he's having to work every single angle and lobby every single year. And this was an unusual session because the Senate was not open. And so you couldn't go in and have those meetings. You had to go to the Tucker Center and appear on a large screen and speak to the members of the Senate.
Can you talk about Ronnie Book? He spoke.
Yeah, so Ron
was
Book.
Was that planned?
Yeah, Ron was invited. He lobbies for the city, so he was going to give an update on the city and also the budget, because he's a very strong guru on appropriations. And, one thing I love about Ron, not shy to share what he thinks, and 2, not short on energy. But what he said, and he turned around to those 6.
Is that a short joke?
He said, no.
Okay.
He said, because of you, because of each of you working collaboratively, working across the aisle, working in a way that was really about greater Miamians first and partisan politics second, we did better in terms of the budget. We did better in terms of new legislation. And everybody up there had a signature piece, whether it was Senator Garcia or Nick or Demi. All of them had a signature legislation that not only are they really proud of, but remember, they have to run every 2 years.
It's funny because Ron Book weaved it perfectly to make everybody understand.
I think so.
Ron Book's an interesting guy. I wrote a bunch of stories not in his favor about the homeless issue. But you want something? He's a big boy. You shake hands and keep on going. He's a big boy. He understands.
He wouldn't be who he is. He wouldn't be successful. I mean, can you imagine walking in, I don't know how many times a session to a particular legislator's office, and you're advocating on behalf of a client. And it's not that you don't believe in it. It's that you are so focused on educating them. And I think Ron is one of those who's lucky enough to pick clients who he is in agreement with. So you're there really speaking from the heart. I mean, he's been very involved in the homelessness issue here locally. He's chaired the trust for many, many years. He's worked on a myriad of issues. His daughter is in the Senate now.
There's rumors that she might be running for governor.
Well,
maybe
that would be interesting.
Maybe not now. But
she's going to be, I believe, the minority leader. And so that's a big leadership post, for the Senate. Really very powerful folks have been in that role before. Our friend Ganny Gelber from Miami Beach was a minority leader in the Senate. And, the Senate's a little bit more like, an august body. There's only 40. The margins are a little bit different. I think at one point it was like 28-12. But, they work more collaboratively. And senators can file as many bills as they like. whereas representatives can only file up to 6. So, there they have to be a little more choosy. They can add their name to any number of them. I mean, our good friend Vance Lupus is a wonderful co-sponsor for so many bills. He really is the bridge between the Democratic and Republican parties.
He's a go-to to both parties.
Yeah, they'll come to him, the Republicans, and say, I need you to reach out to so-and-so and help me. And the Dems will say, can you help me with this one? And of course, he's an expert on all things early childhood.
The art of negotiation.
It is the art of the deal. I love Vance. If you're watching, we miss you. You're supposed to send me, make sure I have the right number.
I sent it to you.
No. I feel like maybe.
You didn't call him.
Oh, you want to call him now?
Well.
So while you're talking about that and making a call, let me just tell you, our chamber began probably about 12 years ago, putting together a more robust portfolio with regard to legislative affairs. So we started working locally, working at the county level, working at the state level, and DC. We now do 2 fly-ins a year. Those were never part of what our chamber did when I started 15 years ago. And we learned. We traveled a couple times with the good folks at Greater Miami Chamber, and we learned best practices. And then at the right time, we went out on our own. So now when we go to Tallahassee, generally we'll take 20 to 25 people with us. It's quite an incredible scene because I think the legislators are very impressed when they see people taking time off of work, paying out of their own pocket.
Are they wearing orange jackets?
Tallahassee.
Oh, who used to wear the jackets? North Miami Beach.
North Miami, no, North Dade. And it was our friend Elaine Adler, and they were the Redcoats. And they would say, the Redcoats are coming. The Redcoats are coming.
All right. So you got an event going on Thursday?
So we have 2 events Thursday. In the morning, we're joined by Mayor Vince Lago and the Consul General of Canada, Susan Harper, a program we're doing jointly with the Canadian Consulate called Emerging from COVID, Stronger, More Sustainable, and More Focused on the Future. And we've got close to 60 people.
Where's that event?
Joining us. It's on Zoom. So you'll hear from Vince and from Susan. And then we have a panel of 5, including 2 folks zooming in from Canada, including Lawrence Ita, who is the Chief Innovation Officer of the City of Toronto. Do you know that Toronto is not only the biggest city in Canada, it's the 4th largest city in North America, 3 million residents. And I can't wait.
By itself?
Just the city of Toronto. So, that's similar to our size, 2.8, 2.9 million. But that's the whole county.
That's correct.
Or 35 municipalities.
Okay, so Thursday night, you have a big event.
Thursday night, we're super excited. I know you're going to be joining us with Howard. And we're going to be at our friends at the Shops at Merrick Park. And if you're not familiar with that, well, that mall now is about to celebrate 20 years. And we're doing a really cool progressive event. We're starting at a new restaurant called Eclectico, which is owned by Ramsey, who owns Sawa. We'll do a ribbon cutting there with Mayor Lago. And then we'll travel to Tommy Bahama, get you ready for Father's Day, over to 120% Lino.
Is it true you don't answer the phone on Father's Day? You're afraid you're going to get calls all over the country?
That isn't true.
Oh, that's what rumors are, that you don't answer.
Oh, that I have fathered a lot of children?
No, that you just don't answer the phone just in case.
I mean, I like the idea of that. It would certainly be counterintuitive.
Interesting.
But, let's explore that in our next show.
Absolutely.
I will answer the phone. I have to call my mother on Father's Day.
Okay.
Because even though my father died now 15, 16 years ago, she feels like I should call her on their anniversary, his birthday, the day he passed, and on Father's Day. So I have to keep, typically when the person passes, they're off the payroll, right? And you move on to new people that are born or come into your life. So I have to call on November 17th when he passed away. I have to call on March 21st, his birthday, Father's Day, and their wedding anniversary, which is this Friday.
Mom, happy anniversary.
So sometimes she watches the show. She did accuse me of asking you all here to block her.
Never
watching the show.
Never.
And I want you just to tell her that never happened.
Never.
And then secondly, I'll call her on Friday. That is her anniversary. She and Edgar were married in 1966. So, they were married 39 years. And now we're going on close to 50 some if they were still married.
What year was it? 1960.
1966.
I was in third grade.
I'm 53. It would be 55 years this year.
All right. So you got a big event at Merritt Park.
Yeah, so there's still space available. I think Morgan put in the chat that if you want to join us, you can register to do that. I think it's just $10 and you get some food and drink. And we've got a couple drawings. Our last stop is at another new store. So 2 new stores.
Are they members?
2 legacy stores. All of them are members of ours.
That's exciting.
It is. Timothy Alton out of the UK. Timothy is an incredibly gorgeous interior designer who grew up in his father's antique shop. And so many of his gorgeous pieces are inspired and informed by him growing up. And if you love leather and you love beautiful soft goods and you love the United Kingdom, you'll love Timothy Alton up on the 2nd floor, right above 120% Lino. Can't wait for Tracy and her team to host us. I talked with her today. We'll probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 folks. And
wow.
We used to do this event early on in my tenure. It was a progressive event. And then it kind of petered out and our relationship with Merrick Park wasn't as strong. But really thanks to Andy Peach and Nikki and Junior, the whole crew there, they worked so hard. And then we've invited a bunch of the merchants to come as our guests.
That's very exciting.
Yep.
All right. So May, you hit a home run, your team. Your team hit a home.
28, they did. They
28
did a great
new members.
job. And I think almost everybody on the staff had a sale. Really, really incredible. Morgan worked on an alliance that we have with Mercedes-Benz.
I couldn't hear you. What did you say?
I said Morgan worked on an alliance. Plus she brought in a member that's making our beautiful new pins. Of course, Jen has really hit her stride now in the kind of 90-day
I like
period.
where her office is, right outside your office.
That's done purposely.
Yeah, to make sure that you're working or her working.
I think it's her keeping an eye on me.
Okay.
But today I was overhearing a conversation, and I died laughing because the person answered the phone, and she's like, "Hey, so and so, it's Jennifer from the chamber," and he obviously responded, and she goes, "Where did you go?" She goes, "You've disappeared on me." She goes, "Don't do that again." And then she says, "And I know you were going to join, so let's do your membership right here on the phone."
Did she close them?
Oh, she closed them right on the phone.
Jen?
Matter of fact, I'm looking at it right now because I think I just got a sales update.
Okay, so
which includes that closing.
Right now, you have 9 new members and 2.
Well, let's see, because she's sending me an update. As of this morning, we did. So here we go. We get a little grid each day. So yeah, we're at 9, and
okay, we're at 9. Great.
We do have one gem that is in the hopper that just hasn't been reported.
Okay, Morgan, after you wake up from your nap, can you list the new members?
She has them.
Yeah, no, on the
grid. What do you want to go over them?
Yeah, absolutely. Campbell Law, and where are they located?
So they're a new one. I had them confused with Campbell Law firm. This is a different group, Campbell Law Group. Village Medical Center, USA Sports Theory. Carlos Botti came as a resident, but he's also a
plumber,
realtor.
Okay.
Then we have Borcat Plumbing Services, 718 Management Group, MDL Travel Service, and Nicholas. And then we just had the new one that I mentioned that's coming in as
Nicholas
well.
Joined as a...
They've been a longtime trustee, but after working with Matt Love and Perry Ann Reed.
I love that name.
The goal was
coming up the bat, Perry Ann Reed.
Move the needle with them. So, there's so much going on, even though it's June. We're halfway through June. We're 9 weeks from our annual conference.
See, you think it's June. Right now, because of everybody's out, it's like January. It's like everybody's excited.
I guess so. I mean, I think there's 2 schools of thought. It's like, where am I going this summer? And am I driving or flying? So we were on a committee meeting last week, and I had everybody go around the room and say where they were going. Almost everybody was going to be driving. But the places I heard over and over again were like Nashville. I heard about Colorado, 2 people going to Colorado. I mean, pretty impressive.
I'm going to Cutler Bay.
Cutler Bay is very lovely this time of the year. So I have 4 trips planned. So I'm going to New York.
With who?
I'm going with, I don't want to say because it's a surprise trip.
Tommy, are you going to New York with him?
With my godson and his sister.
Frank, you heard what he said?
What?
I said, were you invited? He goes, no, maybe the other producer was.
You're talking about Howard? I sent him a DM. So I'm going to New York. Boys trip weekend with Taylor.
Okay.
We're going to Savannah. And we're going to see, what we like to do together is go to minor league baseball games.
Their stadiums are cool.
Their stadiums are great. Their menu is usually over the top. Do you know the AAA team in Savannah?
Tommy?
Sandflies or sand?
Close.
Sand nets?
The Bananas.
Oh, okay.
So we already have our matching shirts. And when we go, and then I'm going to St. Augustine, just me for 4 days, little R&R.
Where?
St. Augustine.
No. What hotel?
Casa Monica.
Never.
It's an autograph collection.
Let's just go.
Is that the secret code? And then I'm going to Detroit for my niece's wedding. I think I told you this. I'm marrying and her nephew. I'm the priest or whatever the term is.
Speak about Nashville. Tim, the mayor of Cutler Bay.
Tim Mirbot.
That's where he asked his girlfriend to marry him.
Oh, that's very sweet. Now, I don't know Tim very well.
Great guy.
But I did see last night that our friend Karen Cunningham had a surprise retirement party over the weekend. Were you invited?
No. Karen, why wasn't I invited?
I was feeling a little low. I mean, I have been following her daughter on social media for several years now. You know, when she went through some very serious medical issues,
she's a
recovery, Megan. And then she met Rusty, and I was like, I loved Rusty from the minute she talked about him because, you know, he seemed like the kind of guy.
Perfect for Megan.
That was just perfect, but it took her a while to get there just because she'd been going through her own medical issues and they were in law school together. And now they're engaged and he is adorable.
But it's like Romeo and Juliet. It's so adorable.
So
it's beautiful.
Except that their families were not at odds.
No.
And nobody drank poison.
No, but
they're getting married in California. But I know almost 99% of this because I follow Megan on social media. And then every time I see Karen, I'm like, I adore your daughter.
She's a tiger. She had some issues.
Yeah.
Health issues.
Pretty significant. And she worked her way through it.
She kicked her butt.
And now she's got Rusty, who's like a little bit of a ginger, who's super adorable. And they're both lawyers.
Karen just retired, I think 30.
From UTD? Or the school system, or is that both?
All the same thing.
All the same. Okay.
She was a teacher, then became a steward for the UTD.
Yeah.
Then she went back to teach. She took off a couple months. Just took off a couple months to get Palmetto in order. She went back to work and just retired.
She's one of my favorite people, and you know we have a lot of people who run for office in this community. But you know, I always applaud those who are there to serve, and you can tell that she loves that role and cares about her community. And I just
she if any weakness she loves her community so much that, you know, when somebody says something, she's a little sensitive because she loves Palmetto Bay.
I understand.
I think she grew up in Manglewood. That's part of Palmetto Bay, and she's a Palmetto grad.
I think it's awesome. She's got a great family, and I'm super excited that
her brother lives in Coconut Grove or something.
Next chapter of her life will be, you know, gaining a new son-in-law and whatever, you know, happens from there. That she's so young.
Who, Megan or Karen?
Yes, both.
Oh, I don't know how old Karen is.
We're not discussing that. I'm just saying she's got a whole other chapter or two ahead of her. You know, we used to share our Broadway tickets were next to each other in the same box. So she was one box over, but our chairs were like right by each other. So I would always see her. It was awesome. And she always had really cool people with her. Really sweet.
Karen never invited me.
Well, your idea of culture is dogs playing poker. Speaking of arbiters.
Nothing wrong with that.
I went there. I took the niece and the nephew there Saturday. So, you know, Taylor loves to.
I have to interrupt you. What? We're on the phone.
I love that you say you have to.
I do, because you're talking about arbiters. You get me all cranked up, and then you don't invite me. You just take off with your family. What's more important?
Because I didn't think we were going. I told you that's what I wanted to do, but he was at my house. So one of the things I love about Taylor is that he's super handy. But secondly, what I love is he's like, I'm coming over to do X. And then when he gets there, he does X, and then that creates Y and Z. So always one project begets another. So there was some like bubbling of the paint on my porch. So I had gotten some water behind it. So it needed to be scraped down, prepped, and repainted. So then I went yesterday, took the paint chip, and went to Home Depot and gave it to the guy, and he matched it.
Where's a Home Depot near you?
The close to me is in Hialeah, and it's an awesome one with great parking. And I love it, you know, because it wasn't super busy. I got the paint, which is like a Pacific blue. And so now I'm like, I have the paint. And now he's like, okay. And now we need to work on this and this. So then I have to go do like something else. So like Saturday, I had gotten up around 6:30 and then, you know, taking the dog out. And then I fell back asleep for a little bit. And then I hear a noise. And I kind of come to.
Knocking at the door?
No, he was outside already working, and he's like, hello, are you in there? What's going on? I'm like, oh my God, I fell back asleep. So then we were working for the next 3 or so hours. I ran a couple of errands, like going to the Village Hardware. I had to get some, heavy duty ant killer.
When you say Village Hardware, you mean the hardware store in Miami Springs?
Yeah, it's called Village Hardware.
Okay.
And I love the people there because it's super, homegrown, home owned. And
on the Circle?
It's not. It's close. It's close to Virginia Gardens.
Okay,
so it's
gotcha.
down by the
entrance.
Vito's Bakery.
Near the entrance.
Yeah. So I go in there, and I always have to ask where anything is. So while I'm there, then he needs something else, and then I had left, and then I came back, and then he couldn't explain it, and so he came over in his golf cart, and then
you don't have a golf cart.
I don't. I don't think I need one. Now, his golf cart is awesome.
Right. So yesterday we did a video on.
Oh, it's super hard to get a golf cart.
Okay. Well, okay. At a good price.
Well, forget it. Like even just to get one on order, I think it took them like 4 months.
So yesterday we did a video. Aaron's editing it now.
Yep, I saw that with Vanel Martinez from VIM.
Wait, this guy, he's a financial advisor.
Yeah,
but
global advisor.
He's not. He's a singer. He's a performer.
I told him one day a few months ago, he was telling a story about being a judo
black belt,
and that he goes to national competitions and
as a judge,
judges them. And I always say this to people, I'm like, Vanel, how do I not know this? Like I'm a naturally curious person. I don't want to be nosy, but I'm naturally curious, and I want to, see what's going on. But he's a very handsome fellow, very accomplished. Matter of fact, we had his company do some quoting for us on something for our employees, a benefit we're trying to upgrade for the fall, and then the music thing I didn't know about. So I told him, we have members of the chamber who are very talented, some of whom have wanted us to do a talent show. And, whether you sing or you dance or you twirl a baton.
Well, this guy could sing.
Oh, he can sing.
And he could dress. There's expensive threads he had on yesterday.
Vanel's a great guy. And he's a new trustee, but he's been super involved in the chamber as a diplomat and other types of programs. So always glad that you partner with us to showcase our new trustees, but also really glad that we have folks like Vanel who say, I want to spend my time, effort, and energy in the chamber, because there are a lot of organizations out there.
All I ask, the next in-person thing that he's there, you have to pop on that video. You got to pop that video. I'm
not sure he wants everybody to see it.
It's great.
He's singing, he's dancing. Too.
It's impressive.
Super talented. He had super long hair back then.
All right.
I have no videos.
Today, the first day of summer? Or this weekend?
Sunday. Sunday's the first day of summer and Father's Day together. What are your boys doing for you?
Well, one's in Atlanta.
Right. He's got a nice girlfriend, recent graduate.
Right. They both just graduated, get their doctorate of physical therapy. They're good.
We're good over there.
And
Blake,
he's waiting to start UM again.
Okay.
And
he's going to take you out. Get reservations now, Blake. No. Tough to get a reservation on Father's Day. Although a lot of fathers don't like to go out, they like to barbecue.
Oh.
And be at home.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Where can we take you?
Okay, summer reading.
I mean, you do make me call you daddy periodically.
Poppy. Poppy. Okay, so summer reading. What's going on?
So on Sunday, we'll be releasing our annual summer reading list with books and books. They're finalizing that for us this week, but we always release it on the first day of summer and encourage you to do 3 things. Spend this summer reading, even if you're traveling a little more than you did last summer. Support your local independent bookstore, like Books and Books, and really fall in love again. Maybe there's a favorite author, a favorite genre. I am a giant fan of, presidents and anything historic. I just got a book that David Lawrence recommended to me on Abraham Lincoln and Mary Todd Lincoln, and it really kind of delves into their relationship, their marriage. They were very much the idea of a power couple back in the day. And a lot of people don't know this, but Abraham Lincoln was long courting and in love with a woman named Anne Rutledge, who died suddenly. And he went into a pretty long period of malaise and depression. And by the time he connected with Mary Todd, she would have been considered a spinster because she was an older sister whose younger sisters were married. And it didn't seem like it was going to be in the cards. And their marriage was very much a partnership. She was equally up to the task of, guiding him. And of course, they had tremendous tragedy. Not only did he pass away, but 3 of their children did not live to maturity.
I was watching an HBO movie now, but with Abraham Lincoln in it. Okay, got a personal question to ask you. I don't know him other than hi. Mitchell Kaplan. Is he as nice as he looks?
More so.
I mean, I don't, his kids went to the same school my kids went to, but they were much younger. His kids play basketball. He has 2 boys.
Yep. Twins.
And I go, and I say hi to him. I don't know if he even knows who I am. He just seems like a good guy.
He is all of the above. So in just to put it in proper context, when I came to the chamber 15 years ago, I made a list of 10 people.
How much did you weigh then?
475.
And how much do you weigh now?
310.
So you lost 165 pounds?
Over that period. And I went up and down after I lost the initial weight loss. I had gotten to about 385 and then kind of plateaued and kind of stuck. And then
I measure by weight, not by time. I knew you were 30 pounds ago. I said to finish about Mr. Kaplan. 15 years ago, you started.
15 years ago, I made a list of 10 people I wanted to see and connect with when I first started the chamber. He was on that list of 10. He was the 10th person that I met with just because of schedules and time over the first 6 to 8 months. And when we got together, he, had about 30 minutes for me. We sat in the cafe. Our conversation went on for well over an hour and a half. And he finally looked up. He goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's, such and such a time." And I said, "You've been so gracious." And I said, "May I just ask you one last question?" He's like, "Of course." And I said, "You've been a member of ours at that time, probably 20 plus years. We had never collaborated. We had never worked together. We had never done anything together." I said, "Why did you keep writing that check for $500 every year?" And he didn't skip a beat, because this is exactly who he is. He goes, "Mark, I just knew someday somebody like you would come along who really cared about our businesses." And I'm not taking away from any of my predecessors, but we had a bond. I, of course, adore books. I adore independent bookstores. I visit one in every city that I visit. So I don't care if you're in Coral Gables or you're in Austin, Texas. I love bookstores, and there's always a great find in there. But more than that, it is a place that, in his case, is a convener. He brings the community together, not just for author events, but around conversations. Not everybody has that idea, energy, or talent. I agree. And he is just that nice. And we have a great relationship. That day after we walked out, I literally floated out of that store. I was like, "It's amazing." And I promptly went to my car and I dropped my keys into the sewer, because I was just so out to lunch.
Right, we don't have. I know you got. We have 3 minutes. You have to leave. We have the.
You asked.
I know, annual conference.
So I want to make sure folks are aware that our annual conference is August 19th and 20th. 3 things I want to tell you is that Thursday night we will be hosting our George Merrick dinner. That will be at the Biltmore Hotel. We will be honoring a great Gableite. We're changing the format a little bit for COVID, because we need to reduce the amount of people that can attend that event. So instead of the 330 that the ballroom holds, we're going to cap our event at about 175, tables of 6. So stay tuned for that. We should have an announcement for you in the next probably 20 days.
So Thursday and Friday is the Goals Conference.
Yeah, and then Friday the program will be at the Biltmore as well, and we're presented by Doctors Hospital, so we're working with Elsa Powers. Shout out to Elsa. She had a little procedure today, and we're thinking about her. And of course, Javier Hernandez-Lichtel, their CEO. And we've got some great highlight programs planned. We're going to focus on D&I. We're going to focus on
D&I,
diversity and inclusion.
Okay.
We're going to focus on what's going on at our airport and port and global businesses. And I'm super excited to tell you that the Miami Marlins have partnered with us to have Kim Eng, the GM, serve as our luncheon keynote. And so I know a lot of folks had Kim come and speak at the lunch or speak at programs up until now. We decided to wait for 2 reasons. One, we wanted the perfect opportunity. And 2, she'll be through basically the first season. And so there's an opportunity to stop calling her the new. We can literally discuss how the season has gone.
Yes, Tommy, you are invited to that.
Tommy will be there, and we're super excited. And, if you know her story, it blows you away. And it doesn't mean that because she's a man or a woman, but she's an incredible general manager, professional.
Have you met her personally?
We have never met. So I'm looking forward. I'll be interviewing her.
I'm excited. First of all, the way you interview the 2 chairs, you're doing it the same thing, right?
Yes.
It puts everybody at ease. And
I think so. It's a small skill set I had. It's me and Barbara Walters. We're taking turns.
Right. I think.
But I try not to make you cry.
No.
But we'll be announcing the theme next week. But I'm just going to sing you this song to give you a little taste.
Okay, go.
Reunited, and it feels so good. There you go.
Okay.
Save the date.
We got Summer Loving and Fairchild's Olympic Trials. Go for it.
So Summer Loving promo is on right now. So reach out to Jen if you want to join our chamber or upgrade your membership or round out your investment as you're looking into summer and fall and really want to put together a strong portfolio for growing your business. We are partnered with the folks at Fairchild Tropical Botanic Garden in their Jurassic Garden. Thank you, Sheree Gladwell. That runs through the 18th. We're going to have some passes that we will be doing a drawing for, so stay tuned for that. And if you're not excited about the upcoming Olympics in Tokyo, then you are not watching the Olympic trials, whether it's swimming and diving, whether it's Simone Biles winning her 7th national championship in a row. Remember, all of these athletes waited an extra year. Some of them were already at the twilight of their career.
And they're still competing.
I saw some of the trials last night. A couple of Gators and former Gators qualified, which is super cool.
In baseball, there's 2 Miami kids?
There could be. I mean, I forget how we do baseball. We don't use the professional teams like they do with basketball.
No, they don't?
No, they use college and I think amateur. So it's a very good chance. They use minor leaguers as well, just not major leaguers.
A medal in speed skating. It plays for the Jumbo.
Oh, nice.
He played tomorrow. He played.
So we're super excited. I love the Olympic Games. My favorite sports are probably track and field, swimming, diving. Gymnastics is always a lot of fun. I love volleyball as a team sport.
Pride Month. We're here.
Pride Month is here. We are going to be giving the mayor as a gift from our chamber and part of our diversity and inclusion initiative, a pride flag to fly over City Hall.
Now, which colors?
We did the new flag.
Okay. You like
because
that?
It's more inclusive. And I know the traditionalists may give us a little bit of a hard time, but I love the fact that it addresses people of color, people who've died from AIDS, and, of course, our trans community.
Well, we have a show with Damien Padron, and he talked about the flags.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we know a little bit about flags. Well, Mark has to leave, or we would be here for hours. Mark, you're off to you have to be somewhere in 8 minutes.
I do love being with you. No, I just have to be on a call. I have a call with our new board members for Seraphic Fire. I know we never talk about this, but I serve on a number of community boards. So I'm the incoming chair for the New World School of the Arts. That'll be as effective in July. I represent the University of Florida there, and I am coming in after Maria Alonso from United Way has had an incredible 2-year term.
She's a nice lady. I met her a couple times.
Great friend. We're actually born on the same day, May the 8th. I find her to be just a great partner, and we love the United Way. Then we're going to be stepping into, I'm in the treasurer role at the Children's Trust. I'm on the board of Seraphic Fire, the board of Zoetic Stage, and working with City Year Miami. So it's been a busy summer.
Well, the point of the story about Mark talking about it, be part of your community, volunteer, make Miami-Dade County a better place, make the United States a better place, and one way is to volunteer.
Couldn't say it better, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget that your chambers have been essential businesses since the pandemic began, and many of us have been there for you for every step of the way. And now that we're starting to emerge from our cocoons, well, don't forget that your chamber needs you, not only from your membership, but really your involvement and your engagement. And while we have a number of chambers here locally, obviously, we want you to go where you fit best. At the end of the day, we're going to be there for you. We're going to encourage you to grow your business, help you find a great workforce, and be the resource that you need every single day. When we were young, ladies and gentlemen, Adele, and don't forget to go out and take a photograph today.
Have a great day.